video will cover how to create the shaft support. So the first thing I want to do is determine which item I want to start with. And I'm going to start with the base feature here because this feature on this plane here is contingent on the location on this base plate. So I'm going to go ahead and start my 2D sketch, and I'm going to draw the base plate from the top view using the XZ plane. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and place in my radius of 40 degrees, or excuse me, 40 radius of 40, and that's this arc right here, as well as this arc over here. It's going to be a large circle, and then we're going to trim down to that location here, or to that size, excuse me. So let's type in our 80, and notice it's constrained to our origin. Then we're going to go ahead and place our two holes here, as well as these arcs. One's a hole diameter of 15, and the radius of this arc is 22. And I'm just going to select somewhere on my screen. Now, it doesn't matter that I didn't line up my, actually, let's go ahead and do that. Let's just line it up here and place our 15 and our 22. And I don't have the dimension on here, but I looked ahead of time. The dimension from the two centers of these holes is 100. So we'll put that dimension here in a moment. So 15, and again, our 44 for our diameter, and put in our measurement of 100. So I want these centered around the origin. So I'm going to select my circle and the origin, and select my 100 diameter. We just want to divide that by 2, so it'll always keep it centered for us. We're going to use our constraint, our horizontal constraint, to keep these constrained to the center location here. I think I grabbed the wrong one. Oops, I think I already have that one. There we go. I think I hit the vertical, which we did not want to do that. What that did is put the two centers of these circles vertical. So I'm going to go ahead, and we're not quite done yet. I'm going to put in these lines here, which are tangent from this circle to the larger circle. So I'm going to choose my line command. I'm just going to do a right click, and I can do snaps, point snaps. So I'm just going to choose tangent, and notice when I do that, I get that tangent symbol, and the line kind of follows around the circle because it's waiting to determine where my next item is going to be. And I can make it tangent as well. I can do a right click, point snaps again to make sure it's tangent to this circle. And we can duplicate that along both sides. And again, it's just a nice practice. There are other ways to put this tangent line in, but this is just one quick way. And again, we'll want a tangent here. And you can use that right click to also repeat your command, so you don't have to come up here and choose line every time either. Okay, and then at this point, we're going to go ahead and trim the excess away. Whoops, selected the wrong thing, so let's do a right click and undo, or you can come up to your window here. So one of the things that it did there, let's actually take a closer look. So see how it wants to select this full arc. So we may, even though we're tangent here, it's not connecting that line endpoint to the tangent here. You can actually do the extend. And see, once I hit extend, I get this point here. What that point is showing is that now it's constrained to that tangent part of the circle. Okay, so you could notice that this one already was constrained, because if I do this again, I'm getting this little excess line here. Whoops, I'm extending everywhere. There we go. So there's our line. So if you ever get a point where it doesn't, you don't have to undo. You can just come back in and clean it up. That is one reason, is that it did not lock into that place there. Let's get rid of all those excess lines. We need to get rid of these as well. All right, so see how we have each one of these constraints, which is good. So now you're looking at it and saying, well, wait a minute, when we did trim, we actually have some items here that no longer have constraints, CLR constraints there. See how I can move some of these lines? Not a good thing. So we're going to go ahead and undo that. So what we can do is determine, all right, what are we missing? Let's try this here. We have our dimension, because again, we edited that circle. And I'm going to do the same to the other side. And of course, it's just going to be the same. So if I came in here before I'm going to exit the sketch, I'm going to go around and play around what happens if, play that. So what if this is 150 instead of 100? Okay, keeps everything nice and centered, keeps everything tangent. That looks good. What if I change this from 40? Let's say it's 50. Again, keeping everything tangent, and we're all good there. Now notice here, this is where that extension comes in, because we did not extend on this side and get that point. So let's do that real quick. So that was a good thing that we went ahead and made that adjustment, because we caught that mistake. All right, so everything looks pretty good. So we're going to finish our sketch. And we're going to go ahead and extrude. Select our surface. I'm going to extrude down, because I'm going to be placing this component on top of this plane. And it looks to me like our thickness is 18 millimeters. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and let's zoom out a little bit. And now we're going to create this top portion here. So what I'm going to do is extend this origin, because I want to use this YZ plane, because this YZ plane, let's look at it from the top view, is going right through the center of this base feature. So that's one of the nice things when you use that origin to your advantage, or that plane there. And then what we can do is we can extrude symmetrically and keep this centered along that plane. All right, so let's go ahead and select our 2D sketch, and that's that plane there. And let's go ahead and draw our component. And we are actually going to draw the full thing and then do two extrusions off of one sketch, because this is going to utilize the same plane. So let's go ahead and select our circle here. I'm just all happy clicking there. Let's do that again. Get it nice and lined up. See, there's our origin point. And let's put in our dimension of 46. And it looks like our other dimension here is 30. And that's the hole that goes through that cylinder. And let's go ahead and dimension that to our origin there. The height is, I'm going to say that's 58. It's a little hard to read there. And we're still not locked into place, because it's not locked to that origin right to the left. So we're going to go ahead and choose our, whoops, let's not do that. There we go. See if we can't grab that origin point. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and create this webbing here as well. So we're going to go ahead and, again, see how this turns to purple. That's going to lock it. Let's change our view. That's going to lock it along the plane where this intersects. So we're just going to select that. And then I'm just going to, again, stretch it out to the right. And it's 67. But we won't worry about that yet. Let's just click. So see now how we have that horizontal line there. And then, excuse me, we're going to right click, and we want it tangent to that outer circle. Sorry, my cursor is not being too happy. Let's start at our endpoint here. I'm going to just change that view so I can make sure I grab my endpoint. Let's right click, a tangent line. There we go. And do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to right click. Circle here. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead, let's go back to our right side view here so we can look at it straight on. And we need to go ahead and do our dimension. So we're looking at our line here. And again, sometimes it's easier to just choose a different angle to be able to make sure you're choosing the right points. And that should be 67. And again, we want to select our corner here to our midpoint, and it's going to be half of that 67. So it locks it into place. Once we do that, you can see the item is fully dimensioned for us here, or fully constrained. And you can look down here. It does say 2 dimensions needed. We can try to pull and see what dimensions it's looking for. I don't see the dimension. Last case scenario is go ahead and choose apply. It wants to do a height of these. We don't really need that height because it's tangent to our piece here. So we're going to hit undo, but we're going to extend that. So see how when we set the size of this base here, there we go. We'll extend it all the way up there. And the reason it does that is because that original line was tangent to that circle based off of how wide this base was. So once I extended the base, the lines aren't going to change size. So we had to extend them back up to that outer cylinder. And even though they're still tangent, we have to extend that line segment. And finish our sketch. And if it causes us any issues, we can always go back to our sketch. So I'm going to see how I can choose both of these different items here. I'm going to start with the cylinder. We're going to make it symmetric. Our width is 40. Select OK. And then I can come back into that extrusion to make my sketch visible. And I'm going to go ahead and extrude my feature here. And it looks like the width is 18. And extrudes to both sides because it's set as an symmetric extrusion. Turn my visibility off, and there is my finished piece there. So again, I might say, okay, well, let's make some adjustments. What happens, edit my sketch, what happens if this is no longer 46? What happens if this is, I don't know, let's go 50. Everything is still locked into place. When I do my finished sketch, everything works. What happens? Let's get that back to 46. What if this is, I don't know, 70? Again, notice this adjusts, everything stays centered, finish my sketch, no issues. So those are the things that I want you to do every time that you go in and finish up a drawing, is to make sure that you can edit your component. And that is how you draw the shaft support.